When all the final characters were being revealed in the video for the launch trailer for Marvel Rivals, at no point did I have Cloak and Dagger being one character that you played with two different people on my board. And they are the most unique character in the game and probably the most fun to play. I will admit they're a little bit of a learning curve knowing when to go back and forth between Dagger and Cloak, but it is absolutely fun to play, and I'm going to show you their abilities right now. Now, here's the thing you have to remember, that Cloak and Dagger actually, since they're two people, have their own abilities, although they do share an ultimate. The first ability that we have is Dagger's Light Dagger, and this is when she throws light daggers at your team, or she throws them at enemies. Depending on who she hits, she's going to heal or DPS. The next one is the ultimate, and this is called Q. This is called Eternal Bond. Perform 3 rapid dashes, healing allies and damaging enemies across the path. Next is our left shift, and that is Shadow's Embrace. That is when you basically switch to Cloak. So using your shift button will go back and forth between Cloak and Dagger. E is called Veil of Light Force, and this is to play a Veil of Light Force that heals allies upon touching them in a healing boost. You're basically throwing an entire healing wall, and you're good to go. And then your right click is called Dagger Storm. Launch a volley of daggers, creating a heal over time over the impact area. Now, we saw this in the original trailer when she kind of threw this at Moon Knight. And finally, the passive is called From Shadow to Light. Cloak and Dagger can inject light and dark energy into Moon Knight to create a light and dark realm, while Moon Knight can be invisible. And this is that team up passive between Cloak and Dagger and Moon Knight. So like I was saying, we saw this in the trailers. You threw this at Moon Knight and he gets sneaky to become the second character in the game to have an invisibility ability, along with Psylocke. Although Psylocke's is self-generated, you need Cloak and Dagger for Moon Knight to have it. Now, the only thing that's interesting is you also have to click on Cloak, because Cloak has his own set of skills, which is really interesting. So his left click is basically a lot like Moira. It's just infectious continuation. It's just basically that Moira suck that we saw with Wanda. The Q ability is exactly the same. It's the same 3 dashes. The left shift will switch back to Dagger. Now his wall, or his terror cape, will cause damage to everyone that goes through and throws a negative buff on them. And then he has his last thing, his right click is called Dark Teleportation, which basically protects everyone in that circle from being damaged. And then, of course, he still throws the orb out and Moon Knight becomes invisible.
Heal and light can harm.
So you're going to start out, obviously, in the beginning as Dagger. You can also switch to Cloak.
Lights out.
With the shift button. There doesn't seem to be any cooldown on it, so this seems to be about like a split second just when you're doing the transition animation. Back and forth, Cloak and Dagger. So I'm gonna heal and show how the daggers work. Daggers here, DPSing, here, healing. These are the light daggers. Both sides kind of do different things. Easy peasy. That's your left click. Your right click is the volley that throws out the whole orb and will boost healing. The same with E, which is your healing wall. They now get that healing buff and will take more healing.
Get ready. Here come the bad guys.
And then finally, we have our Q.
Against the world. Did you find that
They take the damage, they take the healing. Easy peasy.
Lights out.
Now, unlike Dagger, when she threw her wall out, Cloak's is designed to cause a debuff for damage. And you saw how this dude just got wrecked. And then his right click is that shroud we were talking about to protect. Now, this is actually has a 5-second cooldown because it is a pretty strong ability. And you save your Galactobot. And the ultimate looks exactly the same if you're on
Us against the world.
Cloak or you're on Dagger. Here's the thing you have to remember, that Cloak and Dagger actually, since they're two people, have their own abilities, although they do share an ultimate. I got to play a few matches with Cloak and Dagger, and at no point have I thought that I was going to leave Jeff the Land Shark at any point as a strategist player. Like when I played strategist, I want to play Jeff. If I'm not playing Jeff, I was probably going to play Luna. If I wasn't even playing Luna, then I was probably going to play Mantis or Loki. Like all the strategists are so fun. And then Cloak and Dagger comes along and they just completely ruin your opinion on what a strategist is. A pure strategist that can do it all. Like they are this combination hybrid we've seen with a lot of the last characters. Like we saw Iron Fist and Wolverine as duelists, but with a Vanguard build. And now you're seeing a strategist with a duelist build. And even though Dagger is a great healer, she is a DPS monster. And then when you mix in the debuffs and the curses that are brought on from Cloak, they are a great character that you can heal, and then turn and go right after your opponent with the daggers or with the walls, whether it's using them as a healing wall or a DPS wall. It's like playing Marvel versus Capcom, and you're fighting away as Dagger, and then you hit the tag button and in comes Cloak, and you're fighting with Cloak, and then you tag and you start healing with Dagger, and then you tag again and you use your shield to vortex people off from ultimates using Cloak. Like it's so much fun. Like I cannot wait until you start loading into some games and play some Cloak and Dagger, because it is gonna rock your socks off. This by far is my favorite character in the whole game to play. Now I am not going to say that I'm going to be exclusively Cloak and Dagger now on the live streams, or all my videos are just going to be talking about how great Cloak and Dagger is. But let's be honest, they're great. And I love seeing characters that is something unique, something original, something we really haven't seen before in a shooter. And that's two characters that you can interchange and swap out, have their own skill sets, but cross over and have shared abilities. Like, it is so good. Like, I was really excited to get my hands on Cloak and Dagger. And the matches I played, I never want to play another character, and I know I can't feel that because there's 32 other amazing characters in this game that I have to play. But when I have to slide into that strategist role, because that's the way the team comp is forcing me, I am absolutely, without a doubt, going to Cloak and Dagger with zero hesitation. Now, believe it or not, Cloak and Dagger is only a 3-star character. They're not considered overly complicated, and the biggest thing that you really need to do is get the feel of when you should switch to Cloak and when you should switch to Dagger. And because of the way their abilities are, since you'll be playing in the back line, I know you'll push up a little bit because I did as well with Cloak, but it's only on like pure offensive when you have a numbers advantage. Most of the time you're going to try to stay back, pick off flying characters, pick off duelists when you can, but keeping your tank up so that way you don't have to worry about the Vanguard going down, or healing the off tank so that way you have a buffer between you and the characters coming after you. It also allows you to really get out of trouble because that ultimate by Cloak and Dagger is a get out of jail free card. The 3 moves will cause a lot of damage, and it really messes up where they can walk. It's like a hybrid version of Captain America's, where he kind of does stars and stripes and puts the buff on the floor. Well, this puts a debuff on the floor, and depending on where you throw your 3 lines, it can really capture them in. I did it in one match where I basically made like a cross and then cut over. So as people were trying to run back into the room, they had to run directly through my debuff. I think it led to like a 4 kill. I was able to tunnel them all into one spot and then basically choke them out for KOs with my ultimate. He is really fun to play with his negatives and his basically another Moira suck. His Cloak, when he uses Vortex to protect everyone, it's really fun playing Cloak. And I like playing Ty, but I also really like playing Dagger. So as I'm switching back and forth, I'm starting to understand and get the feel of when one should be out and one should not. And you just hit that switch and boom, the other one's in the place, and you do what you need to do, and then boom, you can switch. And their cooldowns run on different timers except the ultimate, which is freaking awesome. So if you want to throw a healing wall, heal, and you're only 3 seconds into your cooldown, you can switch to Dagger, throw the negative wall, and then DPS, switch back, maybe save someone with your cloak, go back to dagger, and by then your healing wall's back up if you need it. It's such a good feeling playing them, and I can't wait till you can start to go out and feel the awesomeness that NetEase achieved here with Cloak and Dagger. Let me know, are you playing them as your main characters? I guess you have to say characters, or is it still like one character? I'm not sure how we're going to classify it. They have one slot in the heroes board, but you know, it's 2 people. But anyway, I digress. Are you playing Cloak and Dagger right now that Marvel Rivals is live? If you are, tell me what you think of them. Is there another character that you're enjoying more as a strategist, or just in general? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching, and later, mates.